Woohoo! And we're live once again on another Tuesday. And woohoo! I'm so excited to have Nigel in the house from across the pond, my favorite part of England, which is
Thank you.
Yorkshire. And
I'm
Nigel,
chuffed to bits to be here.
oh no, now we're going to get the LinkedIn police with the beep.
What does
beep,
that
beep.
mean?
We can't stay
I'm
chuffed.
very pleased.
Very pleased. LinkedIn, come on, you got to learn from these lives. So we have Nigel in the house today, and we are talking about how to build trust and credibility on LinkedIn or just wherever you need to be. And it's so important for business to build trust and credibility because people want to work with those they know, like, and trust. So speaking of trust, I trust nobody more than you, Nigel. You're just amazing. You're just, you are LinkedIn credible. You are your hashtag. You are your hashtag. So for anybody who does not know you, I don't know how that could be, but there could be some folks. Could you please just quickly tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, and then we'll get stuck in.
Sure. Thanks for asking. Well, LinkedIn trainer, consultant, mentor, done this full time for 8 years and probably a couple of years before that part-time in previous businesses that I've had. I've a bit entrepreneurial background, done lots of things, set up lots of companies. And I found myself falling into this a little bit by accident, if I'm honest, but just thoroughly enjoyed it. And people began to say, hey, can you show us how you did that? And I guess, yeah, I could do. And start putting a little slide deck together. One thing led to another. And before I knew it, I was doing it full time. So I absolutely love it. So my background is largely marketing, early adopter of technology and solutions in the technology space. But I tell you what, I don't think I've ever been happier in what I'm doing right now. So it's tremendous. Isn't that a nice place to be?
That is an awesome place to be. That is an awesome place to be. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so we're talking about trust and credibility today. And I told you a secret. Maybe it's not such a secret now, but last night I got the notification that we were, of course, doing our live today. And I thought, speaking of trust and credibility, maybe it's time for me to change my LinkedIn photo. And a lot of, for me, my photo represented a happy place. My happy place, I was in Newport Beach in California, overlooking the sea, and it was ocean, not sea there, it's an ocean. And I love that picture because it made me feel happy. But I often wondered if people said, can we trust somebody who's wearing sunglasses? Even if they're a video coach, even if they're from Hollywood, can we trust somebody with sunglasses? So can I ask you, what do you think? What do you think?
I think it's the best thing you've ever done. No, you're absolutely right. It's a cliche, but we get one chance to make the first impression, and it's so true. Even more so in this two-dimensional world we're all kind of moving into, with Zoom and everything else. So it's just so important to build as much credibility in that first image as you possibly can. And so many people just undercut what they could do with themselves. I use this expression quite often. Are you proud of your profile? When I was able to talk in front of big rooms of people, I'd often get people stand up in the audience, say, "Come on, everybody's on LinkedIn, stand up in the room." And most people stand up. Okay, brilliant. Give yourselves a round of applause. And those people who are proud of your profile, would you remain standing? And most of the people kind of sit down. Really. Honestly, 90% of the people in the room sit down when you ask them that question. They're thinking,
wow,
proud of your digital pro. This is where people go to check you out first, guys. Come on. Did you come dressed in your dirty sneakers and torn t-shirt this afternoon? No, you didn't. You came dressed to meet people. Well, do you know what? 68% of the time, people are going to be checking you out on LinkedIn before they ever meet you in person. So we need to engender that trust from the very first review of our profile. It's your picture, it's your background, it's your headline, it's your about section. It's all the things that I guess most of us know that are on this call, but it's so important.
You're right. You're right. And I know that when I met you through Jeff Young, who is to me the ultimate LinkedIn connector that everybody loves and trusts. And I remember the first thing that I did was I went to your profile, checked you out. Because I'm a video person, I always see if people have videos. And I thought you had an excellent video. And your video was very calming. I fell in love with your voice. I just love your Yorkshire accent. It's so beautiful. And I love that video because it did immediately instill trust in me. It was just like, I just went, this guy knows what he's talking about. He seemed so professional, and you are, and everything you do has that's your brand. That's your brand, and it's awesome.
I think we have to be true to our brand, don't we? True to ourselves. And I sort of explain to people every stroke of the keyboard we make is either going to build a little bit more trust in your personal brand, or it's going to take it away, and that's the last thing we want. So every comment we make on a thread, every like, everything we do on LinkedIn is effectively a tool to build a little bit more credibility in our personal brand, to get us into that conversation we want to get into in the future. We, for the most part, we don't choose when people want our services, do we? I'm not going to ring people up and say, "Would you like LinkedIn training?" Never ever going to happen. So all I can do is build trust, give value, share knowledge, share experiences, that of LinkedIn and that of life to some degree. And one day when people go, do you know what, I'm not sure I'm getting this LinkedIn thing, tell you what, this guy I've seen around a little bit seems like the guy to ask. And if I'm lucky, they might knock on my door and say, "Nigel, can you help me?" Job done. Yep. It's that long term. Trust isn't. You can't buy trust. If I sometimes use an expression, if trust was a currency, it will be the most valuable currency in the world, because it takes a long time to earn it, and not a long time to lose it. So that's how I figure it. And trust just comes up all the time when I'm talking to people about building a presence to be successful. That's the underlying feature of all our personal brand status, isn't it?
Absolutely. So what's the difference between trust and credibility?
Credible, I think credibility is about providing social proof, I guess, that you can have trust in a brand, but is that necessarily credible? I think the two go hand in hand. But I think credibility is that you demonstrate you live and breathe what you say you do. So there'd be no point in me, if you like, talking about a strategy with my clients and then actually doing something quite different. That would lack credibility, wouldn't it? So I think trust is earned over a long time to get into those conversations. Credibility, I guess, is what you deliver day to day, demonstrating that you walk the talk. Is that one way of putting it?
I like that. I like that.
Closely aligned, but I think they're a little bit different. I love it when somebody says to me, "Hey, Nigel, thanks for getting, thanks for having this call with me. I've really enjoyed your content, probably for 5 or 6 years. 5 or 6 years. I never even knew they existed. Okay, we're not even a connection, and yet people tell me that they've had this relationship with me for so long." And it's like we were saying in our pre-chat. You and I don't think I've had a one-to-one together, but
never.
Based on our interactions, I feel as I know you so well. So we trust each other, we're credible with each other, and that's just the wonder of LinkedIn, isn't it? It allows us to get to understand and know people that we're never likely to meet. I actually, this is interesting. Back in around 2007, that's about the time I joined LinkedIn, and I was kind of really interested in it from early on, but not obviously in a training capacity. I actually built a relationship with a lady in the States. Deborah Korn is her name, and we actually set up a business in the US and in the UK before we'd met in person, entirely as a result of our LinkedIn relationship. And that, by the way, Deborah went on to run a group of 120,000 people on LinkedIn called Print Production Professionals, of which I was an early part of that business, Print Media Center. So it's just unbelievable. And I do value so much the people I surround myself with, honestly. That they're a product of me. I'm a product of them. And therefore building connections with the right people, surround yourself with people who have your ethical values, just engenders trust. And to it becomes a nice life. Honestly, I love being here. I love sharing with friends. All the LinkedIn trainers and consultants around the world, we're all so collaborative. And it just makes you feel valued, that you can offer your advice, you can take advice. We give each other criticism. We can sometimes have edgy conversations, but behind it is mutual respect, and that's worth so much.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I really I really do truly believe in the whole community of LinkedIn. I know that last week I was sick for like 10 days and I canceled my last LinkedIn live, and it broke my heart to do that. I've never canceled a LinkedIn live ever in my life after a year and a half. But the thing is that when I came back, I just put up a post and said, "Hi, I've been sick," because I didn't this is when I wished I had premium ever, was to have an out of office message that said I was sick, because people were sending me multiple messages and I did not go on LinkedIn for 10 days.
Yeah,
And it was amazing to come back and have the warmth of people and the genuine care of
yeah,
people saying, "I'm so sorry you were sick. We're so happy you're back. We missed you. We noticed you were gone."
yeah,
And that really made me feel, that really touched my heart. It really touched my
yeah,
heart. So
absolutely.
you're right. The people
And
are credible.
it's it's really genuine. Amongst the
Yes.
right people, it's totally sincere. And I think that's what counts, is it? One can sense when something's playing the to the audience, but actually no, when
Yes.
people, hey, we've missed you, and just that, it's just that it just makes you feel better about life and
It
humanity,
truly
doesn't it?
does.
It really
Yeah,
does.
it makes you feel like, "Oh, maybe I am making a difference out there." So,
Oh,
it makes you feel
exactly.
good. I wanna pop over and see if we have any comments, and then I wanna talk about, how do people, maybe what are some of the mistakes people might be doing in terms of trust and credibility? What are the errors? But let's hop over and see. I'm laughing to say, I wonder if we have any comments. Of course we do. So, okay. So, first to play, we've got the ultimate connector. Namaste. We've got the LinkedIn guru in the house. Gillian, Nigel, this is going to be epic, and I can gratefully say I know, like, and trust you both. You are top notch. He's awesome, and thank you, Jeff, because you were the one that actually told me to go check out Nigel,
Yeah.
and we connected as a result of you. So thank you so much. So we've
Thank
got Tristan. Here we go. We've got Jim Wolf. Hi, guys. We've got Jeff. Love that shirt, Nigel. I
I put this on
told
for
you
you,
that.
Jeff. I knew Jeff liked this shirt. I thought, what shall I wear? I've been presenting all day, and my wife said, "You wearing another shirt?" I thought, I'm putting this on for Jeff.
There we go. There we go. And it's funny. I always wear black because I never know what my guests are going to wear. Because I figure, what if we show up in the same shirts? What would we do?
Yeah,
So I don't have that shirt. I want that shirt. I think it's cool. It's cool. We've got our beloved John Asperian in the house. Hi, Jillian and Nigel. Two of the truly nice souls on LinkedIn. He's awesome. He's awesome sauce. Just love him.
absolutely.
Love the topic of trust equity. Now that's a great hashtag. I like that. And
Yeah,
the currency of trust. And it's funny because it's like, here I'm in the US and I'm in dollars. You're in the UK, so you're in pounds. Do you call it sterling? What do you call it? You're in
pounds. Yeah,
sterling, pound
yeah.
sterling. When I lived in Israel, we had shekels. They really have shekels in Israel. It's like you go, shekels. Does that exist? Yes, it does in Israel. And yet the currency of trust, there's the rate of exchange. There is no, it's everybody's on the same rate of exchange for the trust
Absolutely,
equity.
absolutely.
I like that. That should be tweetable if I was only on Twitter. Okay, Rebecca, hello, Jillian. Glad to see you're looking better. Thank you, thank you. Oh, it was just awful to be sick. You still look like a rock star to me. Oh, he likes my sunglasses. Gonna miss my sunglasses. So that's a whole new look. Ask Nigel to talk about his going back to work face to face after COVID video, Jillian. Okay, there we go. Let's talk about that, Nigel.
So going back to work face to face after COVID. Well, um, I'm quite relaxed about this whole thing. If I'm honest, I was, let's be. My life changed utterly on the lockdown day of whenever it was, 19th of March 2020. My world was traveling, training in organisations, mostly in the UK, sometimes internationally. my diary emptied. It was a whole new ball game, wasn't it, for many of us?
Yep.
And I can't, I wouldn't like to say I was depressed about the situation that I found myself in, but I just didn't look forward to a world of Zoom. I really didn't. And then I sort of played around with this, and it gave me a wonderful opportunity to actually to replay all my content to myself, almost, and reinvent my model of training, which I thoroughly enjoyed looking back. I didn't at the time. And then we've gone through this period, and you know what? Honestly, I love it on Zoom. I really do. I don't know why. I can have more conversations. I can be more relaxed. I can wear my pajama bottoms. When I put a shirt. But I'm not spending times on trains and in the car and all of that stuff. However, getting back to see people that there's going to be always something special about that. And I think particularly sort of networking. I went to an event last week in Leeds, which I know you've got a proximity to with your family, and it was lovely to be amongst people with the restrictions probably for the first time completely lifted here in the UK. I didn't feel uncomfortable at all, I have to say. I felt quite happy to be open and out there. So for me, I don't think the world that I occupy is actually going to quickly go back to where it was. I think we're here to stay, as far as I'm concerned. And honestly, what's terrific is my horizons have opened up even more to find that, today alone, I've been on calls with people in Australia, but clients in Australia who were stopping up late at night. I have to say that they're very kind to accommodate that late on in their day. The US, I'm literally all over the world, and that's rich in value to me. Certainly, listening to cultural values and ethics, and I just love people, really. so taking all this in over a period and getting back to face, yeah, absolutely, definitely. But whether I think the model of my training will actually go back to where it was, I don't think so. I think it's going to remain on this vehicle, and actually, I think I'd deliver a better product, if I'm honest with you, as a result of being able to deliver in more bite-sized chunks what I previously might have done in a day, dropped into a corporate entity to do something. Actually, doing this is more embedded as a process over time. So I love that. So yeah, that's a long answer to a short question.
That's great. That's great. Thanks, Jeff. That was a good question. Hi, Gillian and Nigel from Jill. 100% trust is a currency. Most people just don't realize it. It can be earned, cashed in, and transferred. Oh, he's so clever. I love that. Absolutely. And also you can go bankrupt. So like we can kind of keep that metaphor going. So I had asked you earlier, Nigel, what are some of the mistakes maybe that some of us are doing that we either aren't earning trust, or we could be losing trust with people, losing our trust or our credibility? What do you kind of see the most happening out there?
I think the biggest failure that I default when asked that question is the desire in people to want to sell. You see all the time. It's so annoying. We all get in mails, even to people that do what we do. Hey, Nigel, would you like to have the 10 top tips to improve your reach on LinkedIn? Have you taken two? Anyway, that's a different thing. Automation. Oh, let's not go there. So, but just selling. There's just something about people that need to get the message to sell out. Even if it's a little light touch at the end of a post. I just feel you don't need that selling at the end of your process. And if you, perhaps I'm lucky, I have a pipeline of incoming interest around what I do. You do that by being present, being consistent, being true to your values, and demonstrating that over a period of time consistently, whether it's in a video, in an image, in text, and importantly, in your engagement with others. That's so important. I never actually worked out the percentage of time I spend engaging with others, but out of the total time I spend engaging on LinkedIn, I'm pretty sure that 80% of it is on other people's content, not on my own. This is not a broadcast platform, and I actually only post typically about once a week, and people would say, what, your LinkedIn trainer? You only once a week, and sometimes I'll go a week without posting anything, and it doesn't stop my inbox being busy. So
Yep.
I think there's a legacy of obviously building up a momentum behind that. But getting back to the question, it's that desire to want to sell. You know, if you add value, share knowledge, share experiences, you know, people will want a piece of what you've got. They don't need the trigger of buy my goods here, click. There's no buy button on LinkedIn. Has everybody seen a buy button on LinkedIn anywhere? No. So so, you know, the deal ain't going to be cut here. It's going to be, you know, LinkedIn has got a place in building a relationship at the early form and ongoing, but to be successful, that relationship's going to go somewhere else. It's going to go to a coffee. It's going to go to a phone call. It's going to go to Zoom. It's going to go to a presentation, whatever, proposal. So just that desire to sell is the biggest mistake people make, I believe, on LinkedIn. It's just a turn off. Somebody trying to sell to me at the wrong time is going to damage their brand reputation, in my mind, not improve it. You know, the world has changed in terms of the whole of the selling arena, hasn't it? So much. Now we don't wait to be sold, we research and buy what we want. So you've got to be there in search, and you've got to be, you know, proud of your profile. So when somebody goes there, it matches exactly what that person's looking for. And if we do that correctly, we're in the game. We do not need to sell.
I love that.
Biggest mistake by a mile, I think, in my opinion, certainly.
That's great. I love that. That's a perfect answer. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, so let's get a couple more comments. Consistency builds credibility, which builds trust, which is true, because I think it's also about showing up. Like you said, we can post less. It's kind of like once you've kind of grown your network to at least maybe 500, you know, if you could get to 1,000, I think that's even a good nice number where you can just kind of, oh, I can breathe now. You know, in the beginning you feel like, oh, I've got to get people on my team, but once you hit 500 or 1,000, you're doing okay. And I think it's so important to not just be banging out post after post and spending more of our time engaging on posts where, you know I started just by joining conversations that had nothing to do with my business. I just found them interesting. So I like to talk about books. I don't sell books. I haven't written a book. I don't specialize in books, but I'll jump into any book conversation because personally, I find that interesting. And I tell people, find the conversations that if you were at a party, you would want to kind of pop into. And it's not always about what your expertise is. Sometimes it's just what you find is interesting.
Yeah, I tried, partly through being exceptionally busy before Christmas and lots of things going on in my life. I found I posted less coming up to that Christmas period, about the last 2 months before Christmas, than I'd ever done in my life. But what I didn't stop doing was engaging with my audience. So from a point of view of that collaborative giving back and sharing in opinions, I continued to do that even if I didn't post. And you know what, my inbox didn't slow down. I've often wondered, if I didn't post at all, what would be the outcome of that? You know, over the long term. Of course, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to trial the algorithm to that extent. But I do believe that just by collaborating consistently with others, you would maintain a momentum without this desire that some people have to just keep posting. And you know, how can you possibly post something multiple times a day of any value to an audience? I just don't get it. You know, this is not an automated feed which I need to keep hitting with content. It's just not that world. You know, I'd rather read one thing of value from somebody, you know, once a quarter, from which I truly am enriched, than just feel the need to keep banging this drum of more content, effectively putting more noise out into the world. And I know I'm perhaps a little bit extreme on this. I get that. I don't know. Perhaps it's just where I am at the time of life as well. You know, I don't need to do all those things anymore. But I generally think that engagement comes through sincere, authentic communication on a consistent basis with an audience, and the rest kind of falls into place.
Perfect. Hi, Gillian. Like equals trust equals buy. It's so true. And it has to be at a time Margot, when it's appropriate for people. I've had people where I've known them for years, and then just out of the blue, they say, "Today is the day I need to just have a quick consult with you." And they're ready to buy. And it's like, sometimes I would even think, oh, I never thought they would ever become my customer. I just thought they were going to be colleagues. And I was totally okay with that. But I think people just get to a particular point and they say, today is the day. I need to know how to do this. And, you've always been the one that was there. And now you stayed top of mind. And that's all we need to do is just be top of
And
mind.
it goes one further, actually, Gillian. People have referred me to people I don't know, and I don't even know the referrer.
Ah,
Somebody said to me, "Hey, Nigel, Sally told me to give you a call." I'm going, "Sally who?" Thinking, "Oh, Sally so and so." I go, "Oh, yeah, fine." And I'm frantically looking, search your LinkedIn, see that. And you're thinking that the power of that is just wonderful and immense. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And LinkedIn gives us that opportunity, doesn't it?
yes,
To work in this world, giving and sharing, collaborating, and adding value. You've got to add value at the end of the day. You've got to be putting something out there that somebody's going to learn from, to be
true.
amused by, be educated with. So you've got that combination to find that personality and value. Otherwise, too much in either direction, and it probably won't work. Certainly, as far as I'm concerned. So finding that balance, and some people find that really hard.
Yes.
They don't like to put themselves out there personally, but I think it's become an inevitable part of personal brand management that you allow a little bit of yourself to be in that profile. Because if you make it too corporate, you're just not going to be interesting. People buy people first. Yeah, so often used, but so true. I did a post about that last week, posting a picture of myself when I was 24 at Wakefield Westgate Rail
I
Station.
love that. I love
So,
that. And
and
and what was beautiful about that picture? I knew it was you. Like, you came out of it and it was just like, "Oh, there he is." And it's just so wonderful, but you absolutely radiated it
I
through
thought you were
that
going to say
picture.
the
It was
difference was
just
the hair. I had some.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we've got Jim, spot on, Nigel. Absolutely. Sorry to drop in late. Sounds like a great convo. It was. It is. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Engagement with others. Biggie. So true. No one
absolutely.
wants to be pitch slapped. Even that phrase, pitch slapped, it's so like, it's
Yeah,
such a, but it's actually a very kind of stealing that Jim Wolf's thing, spot on. It
yeah,
is such a true phase, and there is nothing worse when somebody comes and they're trying to sell you your own services, and and you're just like, I want the disconnect button immediately. They'll
yeah,
ask me, so where do you live? It's like, it's on my profile. What do you do for a living? It's
yeah,
on my profile. And you're just like, did you even look? Did you even look? And to me, that's how you lose credibility, is if
yeah,
you didn't even look at my profile. Why did you want, I'm just a notch, you're
yeah,
just checking off a box. I want X amount of people, and
yeah.
not cool. Not cool.
LinkedIn done well is just simply not a numbers game, is it? It's a relationship game, if that's such a thing. And the people who automate by numbers, uh, bring the rest of us down, really. But let's not go into automation. We're not here to talk about that.
Yes.
I think we all
Yes.
know where we stand on that topic, don't we?
Yes, yes. So here's a question that I would have for you about credibility. I know some people get really big on LinkedIn, and I'm not there. I'm just like a medium person. I like to think of myself as just like having a medium network. But I guess once you sort of get that 50,000 and above, and they're the kind of people that are like, "Oh, I can't connect with any more people. I've run out of invites and slots and blah 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 blah." And then they go on to admit that they're hiring on VAs to deal with their LinkedIn messaging. Um, First of all, is that against LinkedIn's terms of service? Not for your business page, for your personal profile. Can you
Um,
even be doing that, to have a VA do all your messaging for you?
uh, Technically, I think that's against LinkedIn's terms or terms of service. because you should have access to your profile. You shouldn't give your password to anybody else. Of course, a lot of people do it. I do not advocate it. And the reason is this, that the life's experiences I've had and the connections I've had, the people I know fit into my life somewhere, can only be ever in here. You can never pass all that detail onto a VA. So however professionally competent they are, they will never get the nuances of a person 10 years ago that you knew really well, that you did $1 million pounds of the business with, is looking at your profile in your new life. Okay. So only you can join the dots with that information. A VA would never see that. So to try and automate this in any way, to outsource it, I'm not in favor of outsourcing anything. And I know a lot of people make a living out of that. It's not what I don't outsource one thing to anybody. All right, I sometimes get help with production of videos, but what I mean is that the relationship building, the trust building factor on LinkedIn is entirely me. How can I possibly outsource that? So that's my attitude to it, that people build trust one-on-one, not one-on-many, and I think the more personalized the world gets, the more that's going to continue to be the case.
Thank you, because that was my feeling. On the one hand, I think there is absolutely a place for VAs in a small business, and I know that I outsource to my husband, and he takes care of like all my website stuff, because I don't want to do that. It's icky. I don't want to do Google Analytics and all that sort of stuff. But LinkedIn is me. It's 100% me. And to be honest with you, Nigel, if I sent you a DM and you had somebody in another country responding as you, I don't think I'd want to have a conversation with you anymore, because I would think that I'm assuming you're a real person on the other side of that. And also I would have a different feeling.
The subliminal message is, you're not important enough for me to have that relationship with you. Like, get over yourself. That's utterly ridiculous. And you can sense that sometimes. You're thinking, well, surely I'm important enough to have a conversation with, on a chat over LinkedIn. That is about the building credibility and trust factor, isn't it? And the minute you sense that's outsourced, you're thinking, nah, I'm out of here. I want those genuine relationships. Give me one relationship over 1,000 connections.
I agree.
I don't strive for numbers. I strive for quality of network, if you like, and on that basis, I really am focused on making that the point for me. It's not about, I'm not going to be on Get Me Out of Here celebrity anytime soon in the UK. I've probably said that wrong, but what's it? Celebrity Get Me Out of Here. I don't want to be an Instagram star. I'm not going to be a TikTok star. I'm just little old Nigel doing my thing. And if I can add something valuable to the world as I pass through it, then that's good enough for me.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so we've hit our 30-minute mark, a little bit over. So can you leave us with one word, wise words of wisdom that you want as our takeaway today, and then we'll sign off so everybody can get on with the rest of their day.
Sincerity, authenticism. Be the real you. Don't try to be anything else. Be true to your moral values. And build just sincere, genuine relationships over time. You can't force relationships, but if you do it in the right way, I'm a true believer in, success will happen on the back of that. Might not be tomorrow, but work at this with the right way, and you will come through.
Awesome. Thank you. And can I encourage everyone to follow you or connect with you? I'm assuming that if you get a connection, you would prefer a personal message. Absolutely, that they saw you here today, so they know where you're
very happy. I've got creator mode turned on, so follow is my default, but very happy to connect with people, who add value to my life and I can value to theirs.
Love it. Okay, well, thank you for being on the show today, Nigel, and just awesome to meet you. Thank you. And I will be coming to see you in Yorkshire. I'm probably not saying it right.
I'll have a cup of tea that day.
I want a cup of tea, and I want a tour of The Last Tango in Halifax, because I want to see where all that filming took place.
Yeah, we're so lucky. There's so much going on here. It's tremendous.
Yes.
Next Marvel film, some of it being shot in Halifax. Just saying.
Ooh. Ooh, okay. Another reason, COVID, hurry up and get done so I can get traveling again. Okay, well, thank you very much, and we'll see everybody next week. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.